I'd like to welcome everyone to the 16th Annual National Wrestling Hall of Fame Awards Banquet, sponsored by the West Virginia chapter. And at this time, I would like for everyone to stand and join us as we pay tribute to the flag and to the Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing for the blessing. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's bow our heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for our many blessings. We know that everything that we do is because you have given us the strength and the wisdom to accomplish them. Today we come to recognize 9 gentlemen that have given their time, their talent, their family time to the sport of wrestling. We bless each family and friend that have come to support them, to love them and show appreciation. Lord, please bless the meal that we are about to eat and the hands that have prepared it. And in Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Okay, you may be seated. I'd like to have the this year's inductees and their dates. You can get in line for the food now. And, members of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame inductees, you may get in line with your dates.
Welcome everybody here, friends and family, inductees, previous inductees. I'm going to start from the beginning. I guess about 17 years ago, the doctor back there told me that I need to come to this meeting. He left without doing anything. I'm the vice president for the last 16 years, and I see no one behind that wants to do it. So rather than me one of my usual spiel about politics, I'm not going to talk about politics. We do have a special guest and his assistant coach is here today, so before I start explaining everything, most of you know West Virginia University has a new wrestling coach. And I met him a long time ago when he was on the team with Kenny, and I'm very happy to see him here. So, Coach Bland, you can bring your assistant if you want. I'll let you talk first. And I'm doing that a favor so you don't have to listen to the speech.
Morgantown, I guess, 6 months ago. It's been kind of crazy, you know, just trying to get everything set up the way we want it. I can assure you of a couple things. A lot of people are asking me, how's the team, what's going on? I can assure you that they're working hard. We're trying to do things the right way and set, you know, the foundation so that, you know, whenever I'm done, the next guy can come in, whether it's Cody or Cliff or Mitch or whomever, and you know, just keep this thing rolling. West Virginia University can be great at wrestling. You know, we're in a hotbed, you know. We can attract the best people from West Virginia, obviously, and we can get Ohio and PA. But it's also a great university and a great place, and we found that out. Cody and I, you know, coming from different, you know, schools. Last year he was at Gardner-Webb, I was at Edinburgh. But the people have been so receptive, and the people of West Virginia are so great, and I think you guys know that. So we can win. It's just a matter of when and how quickly. What we do need is support, be a fan, you know, come out and watch a match. And it's easy, and we all know this as we're all wrestling people, it's easy when you're winning, you know, people want to donate, people want to come watch you. When you really need the support is, you know, when you're growing. So if we can get help, if you can spread the word, we're going to do things the right way. You're going to be proud of the kids that go out on the mat, and it's going to be fun, you know. I've been treated so well since I took the job. I really am ecstatic to be here, you know, in the state. Really felt like there's so much pride. I've never seen it before, you know. And you know, I went to Penn State, and there's nothing like that, you know. And I'm proud of it. Listen, there's nothing like the pride that West Virginia has for West Virginia University. It's true. I went to a number of fundraisers in the spring, and I was just overwhelmed. And I'm like, man, this is a special place, and can be a special place for wrestling. So I'm excited. Congrats to all the, you know, the inductees. What an achievement. I think it's a really, really neat thing. Hopefully your families can enjoy the day with you. Thanks again for having, you know, Cody and I. Again, I'm living with Cliff now, and I still haven't sold my house, so any good meals, especially, you know. Geez, so thanks so much, and again, congrats.
Go Bucks. You know where Robbie wrestled. My dad went, one person broke the chain, probably academically was the problem with that. But anyway, I will continue. Who you met up here before was Wayne and his wife. Somehow he has also been in the same position for 16 years. And Wayne does exactly like I do. He lets his wife do everything, and he takes the credit. Mr. Keeney, where are you? George takes care of the place here. I do just like I do when I'm a principal. I give everybody a job, and then I don't do anything. Coach Michael, right there. Roy is the impending advisor. I call him all the time and ask him, I can remember his number, 987-1510. Close, but anyway, I leave a message and say, Roy, if you're all right, let me know. And I see him like months later. I say, Roy, you said it was all right. I didn't call you. So, everybody knows Dr. Miller is most famous for being the website manager. He's failed to follow my advice to take all the criticism of my family and friends off of there, but we're still going to keep doing it. My wife does, like I said, everything. She did the program. I think this time she only placed a few stamps on the things she mailed out. I'm not used to doing anything all day because I'm principal at a Catholic school without being Catholic, so nobody can tell me what to do. I do the same thing there, and they think something's a big deal, and they go, you're not going to believe what happened. Oh my God. I said, hell, it happened now 35 times before lunch. So it's kind of like being the FBI at Mayfield. There's really nothing for me to do. I'm the greatest fight breaker ever lived. There's no fights. They don't fight, and of course, if you miss 10 days, you fail anyway. But it isn't hard to get a reputation of a good fighter if you fight people that are fighting someone else. And they think that makes you bad. So I just grabbed one of the guys and go, God, that's bad. Yeah, but he was fighting another guy. Rub calls and says, he's at Huntington High. God, they had a great fight today. It's unbelievable. God, man, I feel like I missed the opening day of deer season. I go, how was it, Bob? What happened? He goes, Dad. I said, I'm sitting here on my computer watching school fights. He goes, you don't really watch school fights. Randy, do I watch school fights?
School fights, I gotta pull them on for you.
Okay. Can't lose the touch. Anyway, let me explain the process to you so you'll know the way it works. Sometime, to be honest, there's really not much for selection process because it kind of evens out. Sometimes we get 5 or 6 people, sometimes we get 7 or 8, 9. This time was a lot, and I never know how many they're going to be. I kind of make sure that you have said, the recommendations have said kind of what she's going to look for, okay? So I get them all together, I send them to the national office. Oh, there's probably 2 or 3 times she'll ask me a question, she'll say, this person doesn't really have 25 years of service, or I don't know this date that they put on there, but almost all the time they present to the people that do it, whatever we do. They also ran a police background check. The only one I was worried about, Troy Owens told me, he said, Coach, how far do they go back? Those of you that know Troy, love Troy very much. Anyway, it was also hard to figure out who exactly were children. So, Coach Way did his thing and said, Coach, I'm not sure I got everybody. I said, just roll it. But anyway, that's the way it works. So if you have someone that you think qualifies or you think belongs in there, I can almost, see all the high school coaches every year at the state tournament, but I can't know some guy in Martinsburg that did something, or works in a program, so you gotta let us know. And if you have any questions, you can call me and ask me, and we'll go from there. So that's where they come from. And with that, will all the guys that are former inductees, please stand up. And girls. Looks like kind of like a Social Security all-star. I also tell Doc that if you see the program, we're one of the few programs that puts all the information of the past people in there. Okay? And we did it on purpose. I'm in the Marshall's Hall of Fame and the City Hall of Fame and all that crap. They just want me to quit. See, they want you to quit. They name stuff after you and do stuff like that to get you to go. But that program has everybody in it. So you are supposed to keep it up. Okay? So if you're in the Hall of Fame and now you have more grandchildren, don't put it if your wife like left or something. But more children, or now you're not doing that, it's okay if you send the doctor. You'll be glad to change it, I'm sure. Okay. By the way, it was a horrible year for people in the Hall of Fame. Ernie Sparks, Steve White, Robert Mendenhall, Jack Perry, Fred Strong. Anybody I missed? Those are all guys that I've, except for Fred, that I've been to the funeral reviewing this year.
Yeah.
So I was kind of worried I wasn't going to be here. But anyway, all of those people, I think everyone I went to had some recognition, kind of like those back tables, that they were in the Hall of Fame. And we think we give quality awards for you to have. And that's what happens. And if you learn how to avoid that, please tell me. For you guys that are new or you don't know, it's always the last day in October, last Sunday in October. Okay? It used to be the first Sunday in November. Bob DiLorenzo died on Friday. We were supposed to put him in on Sunday. So I moved it back in honor of him. And both his sons came, and those of you guys were here. That was pretty cool. Okay, let's see. I think I got it. Wayne, I miss anything? Diane? You criticizing everything else I did. Okay. All right, before we introduce these guys, at the City Hunting Hall of Fame, they call the mayor up, and the mayor reads the whole thing. Theirs is about twice this long. In the book for Western Wrestling Hall of Fame and all other state Hall of Fames, they tell you absolutely positively do not read that. So I sit there and watch the mayor read this thing, and I'm dying here. I'm dying. Okay, so I don't do that. So I will not say anything about any of these people. I will just say their names. We'll start with them. They have all been told not to make speeches longer than 3 to 5 minutes. The record is 26. We will not mention who the record holder here, but George is present. He was also followed by the shortest speech in history. Mike Kirby stood up and went, "Damn, George, you wore me out." And went, "Sit down." Those of you that know George, that was heartfelt. Those of you that know Mike, that fit his personality completely. I said, "Mike, you need to have a picture." "Oh, the old coach, I don't have a picture." I said, "Mike, you gotta make a picture." So I went to the Board of Education and got his high school yearbook. That was the picture there. So people thought he was really young. All right, if I didn't miss anything, you can blame Diane and Wayne. We will start with the first. We do it in alphabetical order. Let me get there. John Geary from Fairmont East. Come on up, John.
That's the first time I've ever been first alphabetically. I'm extremely honored to receive this Lifetime Service to Wrestling Award that recognizes my dedication for serving our great sport of wrestling. I want to thank Coach Archer and the Board of Directors for making this award possible. I also want to congratulate all the other honorees that are being recognized today. Wrestling has been a huge part of my life. I've gained relationships with people who will continue to be lifelong friends. Wrestling was introduced to me at a young age by my high school coaches, Ron Mock and Paul Billiards. These two men were huge, influential role models to me, and they continue to make an impact on young lives today. My passion for wrestling carried on at Fairmont State College, when I gained much respect and inspiration from the late coach, Dr. Sam Church. While in college, I was fortunate enough to have met my wife, Vicki, of 39 years. Growing up in a wrestling family herself, she's always been supportive and has encouraged my wrestling endeavors. We have 3 beautiful children who have followed us along this journey. Ben and Brandon both wrestled, and Natalie was a mat maid. My favorite time as a coach was being able to instill the love of the sport in our twin boys, teaching them life lessons like being consistent with excellence, triumphs, and failures. But overall, making memories that we will all hold on forever. During my time at East Fairmont High School, I have been blessed with a coaching staff that has shown me great loyalty over the years. My successes and achievements come from the program that we built together. I want to thank each and every one of them for your support and inspiration in creating a legacy that will forever be carried on. I want to thank all my family and friends for coming today. I would like to personally thank these individuals that were there during my career that has played a role in this special moment today. If I miss anyone, please forgive me. my high school coach along Muck, Paul Budger of Billiards, Nolan Van Bob DeLorenzo, Tom Dragic, Bob Brookover, Joe Nanicola, Tom Lewis, who's celebrating 50 years in wrestling, Tim Mayo, J.L. Abbott, Brad Petrarca, Ryan Courtney, Mike Williams, Chuck Satterfield, Scott Haig, and the current staff today, head coach Adam Boyers, Jody Mayo, Rick Bailey, Doug Michael, Nikki Michael, Drury Gordon, and Tina Mascara. I want to thank all the athletes I've had, some great kids, been blessed with great wrestlers and their parents, teachers, school administrators, and volunteers and helpers. God bless you all. Thank you.
Roy, it's 9/8/6/15/10. And I didn't ask you, did I? Oh yeah, so you know, we give them the jackets at the end. We get a picture with everybody with their jacket on, seated up here. Mr. Walker has a pen he gives them. So when it's over, you guys come out to get the jackets and the pictures. Okay? All right, Diane back there. I think the next one, Jim Isaac. Jim Isaac.
First of all, I want to thank all of you for being here today. Most of you, thank you for being here. I want to thank the board of directors. I want to thank Bill Archer. Just a little side note, I've known Bill since a junior high. So, and you all got a little glimpse of him if you don't know him. If you want to know more about him afterwards, I'll be here. I can tell you stories you really don't want to hear. But anyway, I do want to thank him because he's the one who got me into wrestling. I got out of the military in 70, and Bill just, of course, he wrestled at high school, state champ, wrestled at Marshall, and he took over the job at Huntington High. He got me into it, and I started officiating. I did that for a while, and then I got into coaching. He also helped me get that job. So he and I have been around for a long time, been together. And I want to thank him. I want to thank my wife, Brenda, for putting up with me, and just like all the rest of you coaches, and those of you that have been involved with athletics, you know it's a long time, especially if you're a wrestling coach and you go to those tournaments. 2 or 3 days in the tournament, and some of you have to travel long distance, and you're not at home, and your wife's at home taking care of the kids or whatever needs to be done. And so I want to thank her for putting up with me all those years. I look back at wrestling, and some of you are older people, some of you, like Bill said, look at the coaches who stood and the generic set of Social Security recipients. And some of us go back a long way, and I've seen some people here today that haven't seen in a while. And so it's good to be together again. Before we started all this, I talked to a cameraman that had local people taking our pictures and that sort of thing. And anyway, he asked me what was so special about wrestling. And I've coached other sports like many of you all have. You coach football, and you're on your sideline, and they're on their sideline. And maybe after the game, you may shake hands with them. Basketball, kind of the same way. I never coached it, but kind of the same way. Track, and a little bit better. But in wrestling, we're together for 2 or 3 days at a time. And you get to know those people. You get to know their families, you get to know what they're all about. And I think that's what's special about wrestling. Not only are you coaching, but you get to know other kids. You get to know the kids from other schools, you get to know the coaches from other schools, and you get to be close. We're a close community. We're a small community. A lot of people have football teams, a lot of people have basketball teams, but not a lot of wrestling teams. And so you get to be close and you get to be together. And I think that's what's important. And I want to thank the older coaches who are here. I looked at the list of people who have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. And those are people that many of us looked up to. We try to pattern ourselves after those people. They've gone before us, and they grew the sport. I mean, I think about wrestling in the state of West Virginia when I first started, and some of you went back farther than me, but think about how small some of these tournaments were. You think about how small the venues were. Think about how small the venue was in the state tournament. Now it's in Huntington, and how big it's become. Not only are kids wrestling in the state of West Virginia today, they're wrestling in national tournaments. So wrestling has come a long way in the state of West Virginia. And a lot of that is due to the people who are sitting in here. Thank you. Thank you for all the hard work that you've done and the hard work that's going into it before. I had the privilege of working at the state tournament. I coached wrestling, I refereed wrestling, and then I got into administration. And I was principal of St. Joe before Bill, and he's right, you don't do a whole lot there. So if you ever want to call him, he's not doing anything. I went to see him one day and went into the office, and they said he's over in the gym, so I thought he was in there evaluating the PE teacher. No, he's in there shooting basketball. So if you ever want to call him, he's available. Anyway, I think about, again, working the state tournament. And remember when it came to Huntington the first time, we only used half the civic center. Now it's grown to be what it is today. And I had the honor, well, my wife and I now live in St. Augustine, so I haven't been there a while, but I had the honor of lining up for the Parade of Champs. And those of you that have been to the state tournament know what that's all about. Rocky, all the kids coming out, and I was the one that lined them up. I had the privilege of the last few years before lining up the Hall of Fame inductees. And I looked at those guys, and many of them I looked up to. Many of them I coached with, many of them I coached against. But I looked at them and I thought about what an honor that is to be able to be inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame. And I thank you all that I'm here today. Thank you.
Can't let anybody get in the last word. Those of you who don't know, before we had all the people we have working wrestling tournaments, we used to have this tournament at Marshall. Anybody that was there, that was awesome. So it's about 3:15 in the morning, and Jim and I are rowing up this mat, and he looks at me and goes, I wish I'd never met you. Now lie, Jim. So don't let me get carried away. Diane, who's next? Mike Litton.
George, I'll try to keep it to at least 24 minutes. I want to congratulate all the other inductees. I want to thank the board for electing me. I want to thank Chris Wade and everybody that nominated me. I want to thank the Wrestling Hall of Fame. In life, you have many choices. You become the choice you make. One decision can change a path for two practices into my wrestling career. I didn't like it. I told my dad, I don't want to do this anymore. He said, I'll just give it a chance. You don't quit anything you start. Quitters never win. He was always a mentor to me. He had standards we followed. We followed it. Had he let me quit, none of this would have transpired. Had he let me quit, I would have met everybody we met here and been involved with people we've been involved with. And besides, Cougar Wrestling now turns 40 years old this year. I was fortunate to wrestle for state champs Carol Campbell and Carl Gray in junior wrestling, Jack Hawkins in junior high school, and the legendary coach Bob Dutton, Joe Hanlon, and Jay Yearley in high school. A person couldn't ask for any better coaching. We started the Cougars in 1978 with one goal: give each wrestler the opportunity to be the best they could be. We set a standard. If you paid the price and you survived the practice room, you had a good chance to be successful. The Cougar program had great coaches over the years: Russ Smith, Clint Way, Mike Boston, Mike Dean, Erwin Berry, Jeff Stevens, Dean Moore, Lou Thomas, Steve Rader, John Pratt, Kerry Drennan, Rick Johnson, and Tom Hayes. One thing we learned: if you don't beat yourself, it's hard to get beat. It is about continuous improvement in wrestling and in life. Always strive to improve your position. The great football coach Vince Lombardi said, the quality of a person's life is in direct proportion to their commitment to excellence, regardless of the career and the chosen field of their endeavor. The Cougars spent countless hours, minutes, and miles going to tournaments all over West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Maryland, New York, and even Oklahoma. Their caravan of cars left out usually 4 to 5 a.m. almost every weekend during wrestling season to find the best competition, to test ourselves, to strive for perfection. Along the way, we formed a bond that is never forgotten. I've been very blessed with all this. I had great parents that always supported my endeavors. I've got 4 kids that I'm extremely proud of. They all won state titles in one or more sports, a national title, and all 4 graduated from WVU and are doing well. I also have 2 great stepkids and my beautiful wife Tina, that after 21 years together, we got married by a Cougar, our pastor, on July 7th. I'm extremely proud of the past Cougars who continue to give back to the sport of wrestling by giving their time and efforts to provide the opportunity for other kids to excel. We planted a seed 40 years ago that grew into a big Cougar family tree that continues to thrive, that develops lifelong friendships and tons of memories. That tree now expands to the Hall of Fame. I now face another rewarding task, being Papa Walrus to my 14 grandkids, and I got one on the way. In closing, I travel to work each day about 30 minutes. On the way, I pass a country church. For the longest time, the sign read, life has many choices. Eternity has 2. Which do you choose? Thank you.
guy that has some parties there all the time. I wish to hell you could quit. Next inductee is Ray Marling.
Bill never cared much about officials, especially some that stuck around too long, like me. But he has been good for some recent years. Okay, I'd like to start out by doing what everyone else has done, by thanking all the people who've come out today, spend their time with us. I want to thank the board for this nomination, especially Dr. Walker. I want to thank my family and my friends who are here. Touch on a couple things I've learned from wrestling. You know, people think a lot about West Virginia as being a poor state in wrestling. We're not. You go to the Ohio State tournament, you go to the Pennsylvania State tournament, it's all about the same. It really is. We should be happy and proud of our kids, and I know we are. I've been blessed with officiating with some great guys. I've been fortunate to officiate for some great coaches, and we have both of them in this state. I got some notes here. I was going to use that. Oh, yeah, thought I wrote one of them down. I must have left it in a restaurant. Got that one, did you, Chris? I'll close it out by telling you a little story if you don't mind. Several years ago, I took my wife to a wrestling match. As officials, most of us done that. Well, I took her to the Yoke Glen East Liverpool match. It's a hot match. It's not a Parkersburg, South Parkersburg, Big Red. But it was a hot match. I set her right down there in front and waved to her after every match. And she'd smile, like a good wife is supposed to do. Right, honey? Right. So I look over and she smiles each time. About halfway through the match, I notice she's not sitting there. So now I'm concerned. So I'm looking around, I'm trying to call the match. Where the hell is she at? So I see this arm way down there in the corner of the gymnasium. Oh, okay. Okay, well, knowing her temperament, she got in an argument with someone over me. I felt good about that. Yeah, I knew it was coming. So afterwards, I took her to dinner, like a good husband should. And I asked her, I says, why were you sitting down in the gym? Did you get an argument with someone? She said, yeah. I said, over me? She said, yeah. I said, oh, take it up for me. She said, no. She said, you were supposed to call stalling, you wasn't. So I got to argue with the kid's mother. I said, she said, down there, yes, you got to argue, kick her butt. That's all I got, folks. Thank you.
Next inductee is Kim North.
Thanks for showing up today. As many of you, if not all of you, already know, I'm a writer and not a speaker, so we'll make it short and sweet. First of all, I'd like to thank the committee for accepting me into this elite group. I would also like to thank my parents, Janet and Jones, for making the trip from Troy, Ohio. And I'd like to thank my son Skylar for accompanying me on this day I will never forget. I also want to mention two people in my life who were totally behind me and 100% of whatever I did. one's my late grandmother, and one's my late wife. When I was informed of this prestigious honor, I was humbled to be here with all of these outstanding coaches, referees, and etc. This is truly a humbling experience because these coaches are molding young kids' lives, so are the referees. I just write about it. I'm just doing my job. I'd like to thank Bill Welker for nominating me for this award. And I would like to congratulate Ray Pernell and Ray Marling from the Northern Panhandle for being honored into this prestigious group. Thank you very much.
Next nominee is Ray Pernell.
I'm not a writer or a speaker, too, and I left my notes with Ray Marling. I'd like to thank the committee. I mean, this is such an honor. When I first started wrestling, I never thought this could ever happen to me when I started coaching. If it wasn't for my brother forcing me to wrestle my 8th grade year, I never knew what wrestling was all about, and I love this sport. This is probably one of the biggest families I've ever had, and it'll always be that way, no matter how old I get and when I'm young. Wrestling is a whole family, like we've already heard. A lot of things have been said. I'm going to be real short. I want to thank my coaches that I had in high school because what they taught me how to life, and my lesson for life. They always sat down and talked to me, and they knew that I didn't have everything that everybody else had, but they were there for me like a father, because I lost my father when I was young. That was Charles Murray, Coach Murray, and Bob Orlando, and Mike Mercedes. Those three guys are just unbelievable, and I love them to this day, what they've done for me. And I took that on to coaching, and I tried to teach my kids the same thing. I would sit down and talk to them, not force them, and it was great. So, and if it wasn't for my brother, none of this would have happened. I'm so honored to be here. I want to thank the committee. I want to thank my family. My wife has been with me since my junior year in high school, so she's been through all of this, through wrestling and through coaching. And of course, she's the boss. She takes care of everything. And I want to thank my son for the last 10 years being my assistant. I want to thank my daughter and the rest of my family that are here today for supporting me. This is an unbelievable honor, and I want to thank you all. Thank you very much.
Pretty good. Nobody blows it. Remember, George gives the closing prayer. Always a big danger. But we all might get in heaven if you talk for 30 minutes. So my membership is pending. Mr. Geary Porter.
start by thanking the Hall of Fame committee, all of you. I'm truly honored to be here. I would also like to thank my mom and dad, Ed and Lois Porter, for introducing me to this great sport. My two brothers and I started at Lubeck Wrestling when I was only 5 years old. All three of us wrestled at Leonard House at junior high and had the honor of wrestling at Parkersburg South. Between the three of us, we had 5 individual state title matches, where I was privileged enough to win one my senior year. While there, I was on a 3-team state championship titles. I also want to thank all the coaches that coached me throughout the years and taught me not only wrestling, but the value of hard work, especially the late Coach Rod Oldham. When I started coaching in my early 20s, I remember watching and studying Dean Moore and Mike Litton. I was trying to transition from being a wrestler to a coach. While coaching for 18 years at the Patriot Junior Wrestling Club, I coached kids from the ages of 3 to 18. The Patriots Junior Wrestling Club traveled many places, Oklahoma, New York, Iowa, to compete at the national level. In 1999, they won the Tulsa National Team title. I also coached at Leonard House Junior High for 4 years with my brother Steve. We captured 3 county titles out of the 4 years. I then moved on to Parkersburg South for 10 years, capturing 5 state team titles, 4 in a row under Paul Jackson, where I also had the honor of being in the corner for my son's 2 state titles. I've had the privilege of watching many of my wrestlers that I have coached turn to coach, Amy. One being my son, Chad. In the last 2 or 3 years while coaching with Paul Jackson, not only did we have a lot of fun and success, but I got to watch Chad begin to change from a wrestler to a coach. Wrestling is truly a family tradition. I want to thank all the wrestlers and the people I have met throughout the sport of wrestling. And last but not least, I wanted to thank my wife Tammy, my kids, Chad and Caitlin, for sticking by my side and supporting me throughout my coaching career. And in closing, I want to thank all my family, friends, ex-wrestlers, ex-coaches that came here today. Thank you very much.
Next inductee is Chuck Satterfield.
Well, I was hoping I was just going to get away from my glasses. Cheaters went to let me wear them, so I can't see this. I'm cheating. So, first and foremost, I would like to thank God for His never-ending grace and mercy. These past 18 months of my life has been some of the hardest. I've struggled with heart problems and. Without him, I wouldn't be here today. So, thank you again. To be considered for this award is a great honor. I'd like to thank the committee and everyone here I was going to come up with the George Kenny and Mike Kirby story too, because I was here that night when all that went down. So I figured that when they sent me a notice that speeches couldn't be longer than 4 minutes, I thought I'd get those two up and I can maybe hit a happy medium speech to do. But it was pretty comical that night. 2 records were set that night. You realize when your coaching career comes to a full circle. I was at a wrestling tournament this year. We didn't get a middle school coach at East Fairmont this year, so I stepped in to do it. So I asked one of my former wrestlers to help me be the paid assistant. So we were sitting in the tournament, and I suddenly realized the gentleman sitting next to me, I've coached since he was 5, and the gentleman that was actually going to wrestling, officiating, was someone else I coached since he was 5. So that's when I realized that I did my job, got 2 young men up to where they're still doing the sport today, which Hayden Stewart was the official that night. So, I'd like to thank Chris DeSerio for nominating me. Crystal's been a phone call away from me during the past 20 years. If I needed anything, whether it be to get officials for a tournament or just a ruling on a call, Chris was always there for me. He's been very nice to me, very good to me. And to the gentleman who I call my best friend, Robert Wood, him and his son, First Lieutenant Hunter Wood, wrote a very nice, heartfelt recommendation letter to the committee for me. And thank you. This is a big award for one individual, so I like to share it with the following people. To the coaches that I've been so blessed to work with and learn from, Rick and Ray and Mike were running the UPB program at East Fairmont at the time. They decided to move on. They gave it to me, and I thank them for it. But all the coaches in East Fairmont have been so blessed to work with. John, Geary, Joey, Adam, and Tom. You guys have been super. And 2 coaches that really inspired me to be a coach. Coach Roy Michael and Coach Brad Petrocca, who went on to Ohio to do some coaching. To all the wrestling officials, you gentlemen do not get enough credit. We're blessed to have you. The longevity that we have in this state for you guys staying in that job throughout every year, criticism, just the stayovers, the long hours of these tournaments, you guys don't get enough credit. I thank you for that. To Joe and Jennifer Stahl, there are 2 people in Marion County who make dreams come true for many wrestlers. They support all 3 schools in the county. When we were needing a financial supporter for the Dapper Dan team, that when we went to Pittsburgh to wrestle, Joe stood in and helped us with the financial part of that. So the 2 people are just big hearts. Bless them. To the Stewart family, Randy Stewart, his father, and their sons. When I first started coaching, we didn't have much money to start with. Randy's father gave us money to get the club up and running. And to this day, if I make a phone call, that family just helped me in a heartbeat. And thank you, to all wrestling parents, grandparents, and mat maids, you ladies and all you parents, without your help through the tournaments and fundraisers, we wouldn't have the wrestling here in West Virginia. West Virginia people have big hearts when it comes to people helping out for a tournament, rolling mats up, mopping floors. Just West Virginia's very blessed in that case. To Mike Mason and the Courtney family, thank you guys for so much of giving back to this sport. Chris Courtney has built a facility in Harrison County behind his home that, with his father and his two brothers and just a slew of other people, they do free camps for kids, and it's an amazing, amazing place. Thank you for doing that. Harrison County is very lucky to have you, John. To the people of Wood County for pushing this sport in our state. You guys have pushed this sport from youth state tournament to putting out high school teams year after year. You've pushed the rest of us to get better. Thank you for that. To my mom and dad for showing me that helping people is what we're here for. And that's what we should do. And to the many wrestlers that touched my life, not having kids of my own, I can say that I had many kids. To my wife, every year you become a wrestling widow. I love it. To everyone, I share this with you. Thank you.
Last inductee, John Staggers.
I know they say that you always save the best for last, but in this instance, I don't think that's necessarily true because there was 8 great gentlemen that went before me. I want to congratulate you all. To begin with, I'd like to start by thanking the Board of Directors of the West Virginia chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. This is a very prestigious award, and I'm very honored to be selected for this award. I never expected to be recognized for this, but I am truly honored and grateful. I'd also like to take a moment to congratulate my fellow inductees. Let's give them all a hand. Next, I'd like to thank my family and friends who have come to share this honor with me. I'm very thankful for all of you. And one request that I had from my grandkids was that I need to recognize them, so I'd like for my 4 grandkids to stand up and be recognized. The best thing about having grandkids, I mean, I'm really lucky to have 4 fabulous grandkids. I'm lucky to have the sons and daughter-in-law that I have. I want to thank my sons, Jeff and John, because without them, I helped them. They helped me get through the youth wrestling league in Kaiser. The youth wrestling was started because of them, so they could participate in the great sport of wrestling. The most important thing, the most important person in this whole process has been my wife. She has supported me in everything that I've done, and she's always there when I needed anything or had questions or needed my uniforms washed or had to get ready to go, so I want to thank her very much. Once again, I'd like to thank those recognizing me for this award and my friends and family for supporting me throughout this process for my 40 years of officiating and coaching. God bless and have a safe trip home.
in Stillwater, there's been several of our guys go. They modernized a little bit, and everybody's name that you see here today and those in the past, they're all listed in the Hall of Fame under West Virginia. Remember what I told you? You have an obligation from now on. You guys joined the select fraternity. There was no mental qualifications. But there was some qualifications. Anyway, it's always the last Sunday in October, so don't tell me you didn't send me anything I didn't know. Doc has it on the front page of his website, and sometimes we lose the addresses in the shuffle. I'm glad to see a lot of people here. I won't brag, but I will. There is a few times that Wayne and I had to take out of the Grandchildren's Scholarship Fund to keep this thing going again. So that doesn't happen anymore. We've had people donate, and our goal is to be able to give a $1,000 scholarship to Wayne won't like that. He keeps the books. But anyway, to do something for wrestling as we go along. You will notice Mr. Welker supports the program with his 2 ads, the OVAC does, and I won't tell you where the state tournament and the WSAZ ads came from. Okay, but I can handle those things. But all those things help. So, with that said, all the guys that got inducted today, come up here. Roy, you guys give them the jackets. Diane, Coach Crawford. Coach Crawford, give him a hand. I'm trying to fix it like my job, I'm not doing that. Nobody wants to give the jackets to the officials, I understand. While we're all here, I also can have something to do with the state tournament. All you guys listening over there, you come back to the state tournament, bring your jackets, and you lead the parade of champions in at the state tournament. Everybody get that? There you go. Inductees, everybody listen, come back to the state tournament. I'll give you a ticket in the back. I'm not mailing you a ticket for anybody but you and your wife. Okay? All right. Got it? Good.
Look this way.
George.
Let's get one more. Come on. Okay. Perfect. All right, Errol. You got more numbers here.
What? Get it together. Oh, I got it. I can remember all the things at once. How you doing? Good. How you doing? What you're saying? Yeah, no fun. Do you need anything? It's always a pleasure.
want to reiterate what everybody said about the turnout. What a great bunch of people. When we look back on our wrestling careers, what we've accomplished, what we didn't accomplish, all these people were involved, because this is the who's who of wrestling. Thank each of you guys that came out here today and support this. That's how we get through this every year. I'd like to thank Coach Archer for being the MC every year, and he makes people laugh. And he's a great guy and does what he does. But more importantly, his love for the sport, as is Roy's love for the sport, as is Wayne Bennett's love for the sport. When we realize what we have in this group, and you realize that you become a part of this group, or your inductees, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. A lot of friends out here, a lot of family out here. One thing I want to say, really, that I think was the most important thing that anybody said tonight, was they thanked everybody else but themselves. Every one of these inductees thanked everyone else but themselves. Well, thank you all for doing what you do. Let us pray. Thank you, Lord, for these 9 individuals from all over the state of West Virginia. Keep them safe as they travel back and forth. Keep them safe and in your eyes. Allow each of us to travel safely back home. Allow each of us to remember you. But without you, we have nothing. They say that love is, in the Bible, love is wrestling. With all these folks, thank you for what they've accomplished. Thank you for what they've become. And more importantly, thank you for what they've made others become. Allow us to continue to do what we do. Allow us to do things for your honor and your glory, and to honor you at all times. In God's name we pray. Amen. Thanks, everybody. Come back next year.